Whoops.
Are we gonna,
I'm-
who are we gonna do first?
It's up
Who wants
to
to go
you.
first?
Better me.
Why not?
Have the
Who
floor.
wants to?
No, I'm willing to have the floor.
Well, why don't we do Mike without kind of the plan, and then we'll get into all of the agenda items that are kind of new, and then we have another project and all of that. So, yeah, okay. So, Mike, why don't you come up to the table? Make a spot right here. You have all your stuff right here. Okay, are we live?
We are live, so.
Okay, good morning. This is the October meeting of the Allegheny County IDA. Members present in the room are Judy Hopkins, Randy Shaler, Rich Ewell, and John Ricky. I wanted to say Cricky. So, yeah, we have guest Mike Zimmerman here who's going to be discussing the CBDG micro enterprise grant review and where we go from here. So Mike, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, good morning, thank you. Everybody has the spreadsheet and reviews then? Okay. Yeah, so following, I think it was 2 meetings ago when we had gone over the list and the scoring reviews and been directed to take the top 12 scoring applications and do a kind of further underwriting review and more thorough review that we do on those applications. We finished that and come back with those for your review. No real red flags came up during that discussion with any of these applicants. I just, for clarity, when you're looking at this spreadsheet, you'll see 5 of them are highlighted in red, 5 of those 12. That's just to indicate that those are startup businesses as opposed to existing. The state encourages that we try to get at least half of the funding to startup businesses, but if that's not feasible, we can get a waiver on that requirement. So just wanted you to see how that broke down. I would point out there's a couple of questions that we had from the last review. Number 11, Canastota Soup and Coffee. That was one where they had put in the funding request for 30, but 20 of that 30 was ineligible uses. So we were directed to go back to them and find out if a project that, only funded 10, were they able to make up that difference? And they were confident they could. So we completed the review with a request for $10,000 in micro enterprise funding for eligible expenses and just to move forward with that. And the only other one that, we had some back and forth really with the applicant, but felt comfortable at the end of the day on was number 12, PMAC Welding. He had some kind of confusion and concerns about the job creation requirement and how he was going to meet that. So we did have a lot of back and forth with the owner on that one, but did get to an understanding of, that job has to be created before we're able to draw the funding for him. Has to be, he had questions about, well, if we hire someone, someone from his family to come in. No, it has to be a job that's publicly available. That's part of the availability requirements. So we got to a place where, he understands the requirements and we feel comfortable recommending moving forward with it, with those requirements. So.
Does he realize that there are welders coming out of the CABOSI's program every year that I think would probably have the skills that he needs, and they would definitely be low income?
I don't know, but we will certainly make the suggestion, sure.
Especially, I can see he's doing this, wanting to do this custom work with this precision machine that he wants to get. That's a very popular item on the market right now.
Sure.
I think he could be successful with it.
Were there any questions about the specific reviews before we get into the funding breakdown, I guess? Okay. So on the spreadsheet, in those middle columns, you'll see some funding amounts, CDBG funding and county funding, that breakdown. So as you recall from our last discussion, This program has $255,000 in funds available. We have certainly more than that in requests and projects that are, quality and we feel deserve to be funded. So we talked about the possibility that there's some additional funding available through the county to meet all of our, top 12 scoring projects. So if that is the case, and that funding is available, I did this breakdown on, I think the ideal way to divvy that funding up for the purposes of the applicants and their projects. It really doesn't matter to them, and we'll treat each project, whether it's funded through state grant or through additional money allotted to it, the same way. So it really won't feel any different for those businesses. But for kind of bookkeeping and record keeping on our end, this would be our recommended breakdown.
For the top 12?
For the top 12,
Yep.
yeah.
So, and of course, this depends on the additional funding from the county. Craig, John, do you have any comments on that?
It looks positive that the county will come through with it, according to Tim Boyd. He's taking the pulse of the.
Yeah, and I've talked to Carissa a number of times, so I think we're solid
Sounds
on
like
that.
pretty good.
Okay.
Good morning, this is Jason
Are
with
there
ACIDA.
some other
Is
questions?
somebody sharing the screen?
Not
Is
sure
there
what's
something we
happening
should
at
be
the
seeing
other
on the screen?
He's asking questions.
No, I can't share the screen. Right now, the only way we're broadcasting, he's asking one of the people on the other, the call in. I can't share the screen, okay? If you want to watch it, you can go to YouTube.
No worries, thank you.
Okay.
Jason, we're not, there's an agenda and we're on the agenda and it's not our turn yet.
Okay, thanks.
We're good.
You have a column for the completion of training, and 3 of them have not completed the training.
Yes.
Are there plans for them to complete that? Are they enrolled? Is it definitive?
We've been in touch with all of them. They're aware that that's a requirement, and that we can't, they can proceed with their project, but we can't start drawing any money or anything for them until they've completed that course. Craig, correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's another course in like December.
Yes.
Yeah, so they're all aware of it. I don't know if they're enrolled, but they're all aware of it.
But no funding until they complete it.
Yes.
And the others that do not fall into the 12 category, are they eligible to reapply for if there's another round of funding?
Certainly, yeah.
Or what if, so those people don't complete the training, then can we fund some of the ones below the line or some additional or just the ones below the line?
Oh, you could certainly fund further down the list.
Yeah, if other people applied. Okay. Is there a deadline?
I was going to say, you'll need to keep us posted on that so we can
Do they
jump
have
in
6
on
months or a year?
That's a good question. I think we should make a determination on that because, the program, it's a 2-year program that we're less than a year into. But obviously if we're gonna have to go further down the list, we want to give that person ample time to meet the requirements.
Yeah, we should validate that they're in the December, that next set class.
Okay.
That's what I would say. If they're gonna get in the next class, and we need to go look at somebody else.
Do we want to come up with a deadline that the class has to be completed by, like 6 months before the end of the program, so we can, if there's money that's not going to be given to county residents or businesses, that we can try to fund some other businesses? Or do you want to pick a date, or shouldn't we do that? What does everybody think? I don't know.
It seems like.
I think we ought to end date, but I just don't know how long it takes. Things are about 3 or 4 months, so.
The program,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So should we leave 3 months before the end of the program, or 2 or 6?
Oh, no, I would only give them about a year.
Yeah, I think,
No, because you want to get the other people in sooner than that, right?
yeah, I think we'd want to work back from, I don't have it off the top of my head what our state contract end date is. And if within a year of that date, these applicants still haven't met the requirement, that we'd be then free to move on to the next to give those folks.
Yeah, I'll have to look at the date, but I think that's what you're saying. We should have it done a year before the contract ends with
Yeah.
us.
Whatever everybody thinks, I don't know.
I think that makes sense.
Okay, so,
And I would recommend that that be very explicit in any award
Right.
documentation.
Correct.
The other question that I have, we have two sources of funds here. Let's assume that there's potential for some of these to fall apart. As we look at this, do we expect the county funding to remain at $85,000, or will is the county looking to fund anything over $255,000? And to me, that's two different issues, because if we do have somebody fall out of bed, does that reduce the amount the county spends, or do we find another person? And I think we need to clear that up.
you know,
Questions, I don't know, that's a good question to take back to the county, though.
Mike, you're the aficionado who knows this program the best. What do you suggest in terms of some of these questions that have been brought up as far as setting the date? Randy's question.
Well, on the date for the training, I think, I think it does make sense to set a date that's a year from the completion.
We'll
Yeah.
verify that date,
Which
right?
I think was like April, maybe.
I think it is,
Yeah,
yeah.
so that if these three folks haven't gotten that training completed by April, we'd be able to rescind their award and move further down the list if necessary, to give those folks a year to complete training and their project.
What's my question to answer? We'd be able to move down the list if
If the county funding is
Right.
allowed to do it, right?
we need to understand where
Right.
So-
that is.
yeah, so if we fund all the ones with a Y in that training column, that's about 196,000 probably. And then, so we could fund that kind of right now, I guess. And then we have, what, about 60,000 more of grant money up to the 255. And so maybe at that point, we fund these people who you have in the county funding column with our money, and then the county would fund, I don't know, what are you thinking? Should we spend the grant, don't we need to spend all the grant money?
I
Sure.
think.
Like as soon as possible to make this. And then,
I would think if the county,
flood
we
tip.
agree to put so
Yeah.
much money up,
Okay.
it's gonna be the IDA's money to do what they
Right.
want with it, I would say.
That's how it's
That we
gonna,
don't wanna have to take back money.
that's how
it'd
it's
be
gonna
harder.
happen, yeah.
That'd
It'll
be
be
a
part of
bigger
that economic
mess.
development
Okay.
grant that we have.
Yeah. They're gonna
That's helpful
give
too,
it, they'll
because,
give it.
I'm sorry, that's helpful because we may need to make some pretty fast decisions
Mhm. Yeah,
at that point. So if we know the
I'll
money's
make sure
there.
they're clear on that.
Okay. Other questions, and do we have an understanding on these 2 points that that we need to do at least a year? We can move down the list if it doesn't work out, and we can bring on some of the bottom ones. That's 3 things, if we need to. Okay, do we need a motion on that?
You have to approve those 12, so we can, so I can keep
Okay.
ordering
So-
them.
Okay. Are we ready for a motion to approve the 12 as is? Any other questions? Okay, we'll take a motion then.
I'll move.
Thank you, John. Second, Randy. Okay. Moved and seconded that we approve the 12 that have been allocated CDBG funding. Any other questions?
Just add to it that there's a qualification that they have to
Thank you.
finish their training at least a year before the grant is over.
Yeah, we'll put that date in their
Put
award
the
letter.
exact date in, right?
Yeah.
And if they don't, they can't come back like 6 months before it's over, because we're gonna have to continue with someone else. So, right?
Yeah,
I
their
mean,
awards rescinded. Yeah.
does everybody agree with that? Okay, so that's a hard date.
And that's more than enough time, because there's gonna be they'll have 2 different options to get a class by then.
Yeah, right.
Okay, good. Okay, all those in favor then of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
While I'm here, can I cover?
Yes, that's why I
quick update,
put you right up,
or-
and the agenda is the other,
Is it? Okay, thank you.
instead of putting it separate.
Just a quick update on the other funding, the CARES COVID relief funding program. You'll remember we funded, I think it's about 20 businesses back in, I think it was May. We're about to put in the 6th draw of funds for that. There are 7 businesses left, and I'm sorry, I only have one copy.
Oh,
here.
okay.
No, I know,
We don't need to look
I
for
can
it
pass
then.
it around.
Okay.
No, it's not, sorry.
That's okay.
There's about 7 businesses left to draw funding. Of those, 2 have already submitted things to me, it's just not complete yet. So really, I have 5 outstanding that haven't really gotten me anything or drawn, any funds yet. I'm reaching out to those businesses to let them know we need that ASAP. Technically, our contract deadline is the end of this month.
Right.
We do have an additional month kind of grace period after that to submit funding requests. So that gets to the end of November. I guess I wanted to give you an update of where it stands. I'm curious, both Craig and the board, if we get another week or so here and we're getting close to that contract deadline. The OCR is generally pretty good about doing short-term extensions for another month or 2. We just have to show them our milestones and how we're going to get there. We'll be comfortable requesting that if we're close but needed another 2 months.
I would think that'd be a good thing to do, but that's probably about all we're gonna get, probably another month or 2.
Yeah, they wouldn't go more than probably 3 months at the most.
Okay.
So
Let's go for 3 then.
I would go for the max.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give people as much time as possible.
But it has been going well other than some stragglers.
I know the companies that have gotten the money have been very appreciative.
Yeah.
And they've made some big changes and it's helped them, so.
That's good. And you'll send us a copy of
I
that?
can send that around, yes.
All right, yeah, send it around
Sure.
email.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Mike. Appreciate all your detail. on
Yeah, very well
taking
done.
care of this. Okay. Okay. Shall we,
You can go right through the rest of the business and talk to Swain, that's fine.
okay. Yeah. We'll let you come up to the table then, and we'll pull up another chair here. John, maybe you could just slide down a little bit, we'll pull up a chair. We'll find our paperwork here. We have a lot of paperwork.
I see that.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you for coming in. It's always good to meet in person.
Yeah, your letters, just so you know, that your letter's in the package, and we have, it's 2 resolutions, if you have a copy.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Craig, do you want to give any kind of a preview, set this up?
Well, the
for
preview is,
us?
we've been talking to Swain now, we've met with the county, the town, and the school 2 or 3 times, and we've had discussions. And it appears the best resolution in talking to Dan and Nadine, our lawyers, is as we propose, is to basically extend the lease. We still have a lease with them. And basically then extend that with a new pilot. But to do that, because it is a benefits over $100,000, we will have to have another public hearing. And so the meeting today is to discuss having another public hearing. And then sending out also the fact that we were going to deviate from our UTEP, because it'll be a 5-year pilot of no cost, and then a ramp up, and then it'll be a 15-year pilot. So it's a different pilot because it's actually setting the payment of a pilot based upon what Swain has asked for, the assessed value being about half of what it is. And I talked to the town, they're fine with this, so and the county's fine. So it's really where we've been talking. That gives Swain enough time, 5-year window, to try to pay back all the past 2 pilots. And pretty confident they have the funds to be able to do that, right?
Yeah, we did, in my letter, we
Right.
extended that to 6 years
Right.
if possible, just because of, got some news about our electric bill going up 50%, which is.
But
a
the
lot.
pilot, if you
That
went
kind of
through,
thing.
is 5 years and a 5-year ramp up.
Okay, yep.
So that means that you actually are getting a little bit longer.
Oh, gotcha.
You see what I'm
Oh,
saying?
the ramp up.
The ramp up, so, because,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yes,
Okay.
so it actually is about, it's a little bit more beneficial than what you
Okay.
asked for.
I see.
We should probably have you introduce yourself because
Sure.
we are on camera. And
Right,
so
right.
people are wondering.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
Celeste Schoonover. I am the general manager, one of the owners of Swain Resort.
I'm Sean Schoonover, I'm the outside operations.
One of the owners.
One of the others,
Okay,
the other owner.
that's great. Okay, are there some things that you'd like to talk about with us today?
I would just say that, kind of in this letter, I explained that it's never been our intention to fall behind,
Mhm.
obviously. And once you fall behind, it's difficult to catch up, of course. So this has been going on almost since we purchased. Well, since we purchased, so since 2011. So we've tried multiple things and really worked hard at this, but I really feel like at this point, the best thing for moving forward and for being able to continue to invest in Swain and to make improvements and to do the things that we need to do to continue growing, this would be extremely helpful for us to kind of have that little jumping off point, so to speak.
What are the new, what are the new regulations, like some of the new regulations that make it difficult? You don't have to list them all.
So a lot of that would be on here, like the water and the.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, we're getting regulated now on how much water usage we can use. There's
To make
things-
snow, you mean?
Yeah, to make the snow, the things you need to make. And there's-
You have your own wells?
No, we use off from the stream there.
Oh, stream water, okay.
Yeah, stream water, so then, so DEC has.
Yeah, right.
And they're regulating everybody across the board, so it's
Difficult.
Yeah, and then, like she mentioned, with the electric bills, it's because of gas and everything else, they come back to us and say, it's gonna be substantial this year.
Your lift code is kind of a big.
Yeah, there's a new lift code coming out, and we had to buy new equipment for that.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah.
There's also really odd and generally unknown pay laws. So like ski areas across the board for instructors, instead of paying somebody for an hour and a half for an hour and a half lesson, you're ending up paying them 4 hours for an hour and a half lesson or things like that. And
You have to pay the employee
yeah,
to provide that
right.
1.5 hour, so they get paid for 4 hours.
Yeah, and it depends on the situation. There's sometimes that doesn't have to be like that, but it's a lot. And then, what was the other one the scheduling, because we're so weather dependent.
Right.
We wanna, it's really nice to be able to be flexible, but you can't be flexible for the employee's sake. You can't be flexible. So it's kind of the same thing. You end up paying people even if you're not working
Right.
or bringing them in and, you're not bringing any money, but you got a lot of people there, so that's always
Okay.
fun.
Okay.
A lot of little things like that.
Yeah, so.
And would that be true with the jobs like the ski instructors where if there's no person ready to take the class, then he or she is
Yes.
not needed?
Yes,
So do they work on that basis you're talking about where they get paid regardless?
yeah, if you schedule them and nobody comes for a lesson, you're paying them. So,
What about the daycare? I was interested, so that you provide daycare year round, not just to skiers,
right,
but to, working.
Yeah, that's
yeah, we opened
something
that
we
about,
just.
we opened that about a year ago. So we do have a grant for that, the desert grant, which is good because it's not, supporting itself yet, but eventually, hopefully it will. We've got quite a few kids and they seem to be growing. Just in the last month or so, we seem to be growing quite a bit, so.
Is that the large building to the right of the chalet as you're skiing down? What's that big building?
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
we
daycare
turned
is?
that to the daycare,
Okay,
yeah.
because I came over and skied a few years ago and that was empty.
It was empty, yeah.
Okay, so you are
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
forward, okay, I like
Yeah,
that.
when we moved in, it was the ski shop, and
Right.
one thing that Phil told us was, don't make that into a ski shop, it's too big. So we used it for overflow lodge seating for a while, and we had
Okay.
talked about putting condos in there. So, we kind of went between that and the daycare idea, and daycare is a big need in the area as well as for our employees, so.
Okay, great, good to see it's being used.
Is the daycare using the entire building, or you said it's big
Yes.
enough for condos, so I'm imagining a huge,
No, they're
It's
using
the
the
entire
entire,
building, yeah.
because you have to have different age groups in different rooms for them.
What kind of weather do you need, like in a winter, to hit a home run, in your business?
It's, I mean, to make good snow, it's 25 and below. And we can talk about like last year. Last year, we had a good December start up. We had a horrible January and a good February, and by the end of February, people are pretty much done skiing.
Okay.
You still got some good weekends in March, but you really need to hit those first 3 months, December. But like last year, January was, we did okay, but we couldn't make snow for almost the whole month.
Yeah.
So, hopefully not this year. They're saying it's gonna be cold.
El Nino.
When you got the pilot originally, were there other requirements that you needed to fulfill, and where do you stand with those? Things like number of jobs, that sort of thing.
So originally, I'm actually not sure.
I don't think that
At
was
the
with
time-
John Foles, and I don't think there was, any other requirements with that, but we can tell you, when we started, there was 4 or 5 of us working there full
Right,
time,
right.
and now we're up to,
We've got like 30 right now,
so
in the off season we're talking about.
in the off season, 30. I mean, we're doing 200 plus during the winter, so
So
we're growing.
we send out about a little over 300 W-2s, if that tells you anything. So we're always like right around 250 with some turnover in the season.
and the rest of the year when you're not open, and you have the 30 employees at that point, right?
Right.
What kinds of things are they doing? Are they doing like, working on the grounds? Are they, preparing the slopes for the next year? Tell me what they're doing.
For the outside stuff, that's what we're doing. We're getting the lifts and everything ready, and then we're doing upgrades. Like we got new snow guns coming in here in a couple weeks. We've got a new pump that we're putting in for our water pumps to pump more water. And, there's stuff like that. There's always ongoing maintenance inspections that need to be done to the lifts and everything else around there. But we also have mountainside units, condo units that we rent out. So we have people for that are, turnarounds, cleaning, managing, stuff like that.
So they're staying there through the summer.
Right.
Right.
And then we have, we kind of have a core staff that does the things that you have to do, like myself, our bookkeeper, marketing director, sales director, facilities staff, IT people. So, kind of ramping down from the season, getting everything organized and fixed and set, and then making plans for the new season. And then now we're obviously ramping up for the season. But in addition, we have events. We've got several events through the summer. We have an archery festival. We have Swamp Stomp, which is like a Tough Mudder, smaller scale Tough Mudder kind of thing. We have like a beer festival that's coming up. And then we do events and weddings, dinners, banquets, that kind of thing.
Oh, that's
So
good.
we're working on our weddings because that is a really more of a less weather dependent kind of thing. So, that's kind of where we're focusing in the off season is the weddings and a couple of our bigger events.
Talk a little bit about the use at the schools for the ski programs. I know, I think that's a great service to be able to have students regularly go and ski and learn and all of that stuff. How many schools are participating in that?
So we have about 60 to 65 schools each year. A little over, it's 1,000 students. Yeah. So some days are busier than others. Some days we'll have like 100 school kids. Some days we have 500 school kids that come in. So most of them have, their lift ticket, their rentals. Free lessons are included with every school visit. And it's really just, to get the kids out there, it's to get them involved in outside sports and in skiing, and then hopefully it will become a lifelong thing. So that is definitely, a good thing for us, but like I said, it's free lessons, and it's a lot of record keeping and organization on our side. So it's not necessarily like a huge money maker, but it does bring people to Swain and then hopefully convert them and their families to long-term skiers.
Yeah, I think it's a great service that you're doing to the school, for the schools as well, to be able to have those students come and learn that. So.
We even do field trips, which is like really inexpensive for the schools because a lot of them have a grant, like say maybe it's like a winter sports grant for $500. So you get $500, doesn't matter how many kids there are.
Right.
But I think we try to charge about $29 to $39 a student depending. And then they come for the day or for the morning, depending, who they are and where they're coming from. If they're coming from Rochester, it's a short trip.
Right.
So you do have, I'm amazed that you have so many schools. So there are obviously more than Steuben and Allegheny County schools coming.
Yeah, we've got quite a few from Rochester. We've got,
Corning,
got some Pennsylvania schools, so.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah. Well, I think, I think that Swain, Swain is an asset to our county. I think everyone would agree on that. So in terms of, I did have some questions about you want to sell some units. You talked about
Some
that
lots,
a bit.
development
The
lots, yeah. So when we first purchased Swain, we purchased one parcel separately that we then turned into a development. So there's a road, there's sewer, there's lots along the hill, the roads. Yes, slope sides, a lot of them are slope side. And we put in a new trail to make those slope side. So over time, at the beginning, we sold quite a few of those lots, and there's 4 houses up on those, 4, right? 3 houses. So then over the last few years, I think, Swain growing has created more of an interest, and there are more people interested in purchasing the lots. So we did sell 3 a few years ago. Yeah, well, yeah, 3 and then a couple more. So this time around, the overdue pilot for some reason, the first time it was fine, but the second time, the overdue pilot amounts has created a bit of an issue. So we just had to, get a release for those. They're selling for anywhere between like 15 to 20,000, and we're basically just trying to sell those to get people to build and to again bring more people to the area.
Stimulate the economy.
So they are buildable lots. You got water.
Yeah, oh yes,
Yeah.
yes.
That's
sewer.
cheap for a lot on a slope side.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Some of the
Yeah.
slope side ones were a little bit more, but I think originally we had them listed at like 40, 50,000, which was ridiculous, and we didn't sell any.
How big are the lots? More than an
They're
acre?
different.
Acre.
They're about an acre.
About
yeah.
an acre.
Yeah. There's a couple that have a few more acres left.
Okay.
Some of the steeper ones are a little larger because they're gonna take a little more to build on.
You heard us talking about Canastaiga earlier. How much does Swain affect Canastaiga, do you think? You know, the economy there?
I feel like quite a bit.
I mean, it is.
A lot of people that come to Swain drive right through Canastaiga, so, you know, the gas station, the.
Yep.
The Canastaiga.
Right, there's
City
not a
Coffee
lot
and-
to spend, not a lot of places to spend money there.
Right, yeah.
You're asking to have the assessment drop to $1 million from 2. We don't do the assessing, so what do you got in line to get that dropped?
Well, the pilot will deal with that. Well, basically, the pilot will be based upon dropping it to the lower value. They'll have to actually go and get the town to do the assessed value after the pilot. So the pilot will be fine. It'll be after the
Okay.
pilot.
Have you ever looked in, I don't know how you're set up there. I used to work at Holiday Valley 100 years ago. And they have it set up in different corporations. Of course, this is way back. I'm sure they do. But there was a different company that owned the lift that owned the land that it was on. That way, if a kid piles off the lift and does the face plant and they want to sue it, all they're getting is the lift.
Right,
So that could break your values up to say, hey, you got this mountain that's worth $2 million. Well, it's not.
right.
If you ever
We-
looked into something like that, talk to your attorney. I mean,
Yeah, I will talk to
break
our
it into
attorney. We
Separate entities.
currently have 2 separate entities, 3 now that we've purchased some more condos. So we have the Mountainside Inn and Condos LLC, and then we have Denton Hill Family and Ski Resort, which is the operating corporation, and then we have Swain Recreation, which is the land, like the property owner.
Okay, just trying to get the value down.
Yeah,
That's
no, I
right,
appreciate
right.
that, yeah, so we'll go
Something to
over
think
that with them
about,
as
yeah.
well, yeah.
Any other questions for Celeste and Sean?
Just a quick review, I know you said it, how many lots are we talking about, at what kind of value?
So there's 26 total. There are about probably 10 left to
10 left.
sell, anywhere between 15 to 25 probably would be the highest that we could sell. Right now, they're selling for about 20.
And you're asking that we release,
We've already done that.
we have done that,
Yes.
and how many lots was that?
How many lots were just released?
Right.
So right now, that was
4 lots.
4 lots.
Okay. So it's a year and a half worth of pilot payments.
right.
Right.
And the proceeds from that are going to the.
To pay back.
Yeah, like
Right.
80% of that.
80%, right.
Yeah.
Understand.
Let's go right to the pilot application and what the changes would be on that. We can just kind of summarize that, because that's something that we're gonna be voting on. And I have, my first stuff is about the hearing.
Yeah, the application's in there.
And since I wasn't filling it out for a specific
Yeah.
project, it
It's
was
a
a
little
little
different.
vague, yeah, so
different.
that's why some of it is.
Okay.
Really, we need to go right,
Shuffle here. Okay.
I think the real question is on the 2 resolutions, but
Yeah, so, do you want it, it's listed, the public hearing is first, so we go ahead and do that?
We're looking.
And then, okay, and then we'll talk about the deviations.
Sure.
Before you, okay. So we do need a motion to set the public hearing.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Rich.
I'll second.
John, thank you.
October 12th at 10 o'clock. Right? In Village Hall.
right.
Okay. Right here.
That's,
That shouldn't say Village.
No, that's just setting the public hearing. All you do
That's
is,
today's,
Yeah,
one.
you're now
That's
setting the
today.
fact that you can do a public hearing.
Get it over with.
The public hearing will be done.
Well done.
I haven't set the date for that yet.
Nobody's here.
Wow.
No, we'll set that once you resolve that we can do a public hearing.
okay.
I'll have to work with John on that.
Okay, so we just need a motion, I believe, to set a date.
No, to
or
set the
to
public
have
hearing.
Yeah, to have a public hearing about this
Right,
and let
right.
Rick take care of the details.
Right.
So, okay, so, we have that motion.
I'll make a motion to do it.
Okay, thank you. And second,
Second.
John, thank you. Okay, any other questions? If not, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 You need a roll call.
Yes, roll call.
Oh, we do.
Yeah,
we
you
on
do.
the-
Thank you, Randy.
Okay, thank you. Okay, gotta go back to this one. Okay,
Yeah, it's on the last page.
yeah. Someone. Let's signature pages. Okay.
Yeah, there's 2 resolutions there.
You have it right there.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, there we go. Okay. Rich Yule.
Aye.
Judy Hopkins, aye. Randy Shaler.
All right.
Doug Frank is absent. And John Ricky.
I think Doug's on the phone, isn't he?
No, he had to take his wife to the doctor.
Okay, okay, that is passed. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, this paper is crazy. Okay, so now we can go on to the deviations and we'll find that. You can go ahead and tell us.
And again, the deviation is, as I mentioned before, the normal UTEP is a 20-year pilot. It's 5 years with no payment. We're changing it. It's going to be a 15-year pilot, 5 years with no payment, and then 5 years ramp up.
Okay, any questions about that or any?
She asked for 6, but we ended up 5 plus 5 ramp up. So actually, she's getting the same as the 6. It's actually, instead of rocking it right up, it's a ramp up. So
I did not make it.
I know.
So from the board, are there any questions or concerns about those deviations?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Rich. Second?
Second.
Okay, John, thank you very much. If there's no more discussion,
Yep.
we'll go ahead and vote.
Voice vote again, yeah.
No, right here. Thanks, Rich. Rich is organized here.
Oh, it's too much paper, sorry.
Rich Yule,
Yes.
Judy Hopkins, yes. Randy Shaler,
Yes.
Doug Frank is absent, John Ricky.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, that is passed. Okay,
And I'll work with John Gordon as far as the time. It'll be about another
Okay.
3 or 4 weeks. We'll set a date and then I'll let you know so you can.
Okay, and it'll be in Swain.
It has to be in Grove, yes.
Okay.
I opened up to the end of it. Okay, well, we wish you good luck with that, and we hope that it's very successful, and we'll look forward to hearing progress reports too. Yeah.
Thank you. I really
We get a lot of
appreciate you
snow.
guys. Yes.
There you go.
Lots
So do
of-
we.
Well, thank you for having us, guys.
Yeah.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
These
for
new
coming.
guns allow you to make snow at a warmer
Warmer
temperature.
temperature, yeah.
How many degrees at night?
20, usually like 28 degrees you can start. But
No, I won't.
it also amounts to you can make more at 20 degrees, you know, so you gotta watch your costs and see what you can do.
Do your new guns make more snow with less water?
Yeah, less air,
Less air.
you know, you can push more water
Yeah.
once the temperature drops down,
Yeah, okay.
so.
I wanted to, so what would you say is the percentage between man-made snow and natural snow that you might have in a winter? I mean, I know it's.
Some winters, it's a lot. I mean,
Almost
it's tough to calculate, but, like, some winters we can go, December, we're making snow, January, we're making snow, we're done making snow in January, and the natural snow on top of our man-made snow gets us through the season.
Mhm.
Other years, you're making snow December, January, February. I've even made snow in March just to keep us going. So
So it
It's
sounds
wet.
like you have more man-made snow
Yeah.
as a
yes,
base.
yeah, you will.
And
What
rely
people-
on fresh snow for the top.
Right.
Yeah, what people don't realize is that we have, I mean, normally our base is like 48 inches. Not everywhere, but like,
Right.
it's a lot of snow, and if you
Yeah.
think about, that's packed down snow. So, it's, you know, if we get a foot of snow, in the middle of December, that's awesome, but we're not opening from that.
And once you pack that in, that comes down to a couple inches. Once you pack it, so.
Well, let's hope for snow.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Cold weather.
Supposed to be.
Cold weather, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Thank you.
Appreciate you coming in.
Appreciate you guys, and it's nice meeting you all.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you too. Okay. Let's take a second here.
Anything else, Greg?
Reorganize.
No, we're set. Thank you.
Okay.
I'll get hold of you. Yep, we're good. Glenn, are you still on?
Am on, Craig? Yes, so is the team that I brought with us. I have DJ, Jason McNair, Brandon Griffith, Jeff Maynard on from AUI, the contractor.
Okay.
They're all on.
Yeah, I apologize. I don't have a good microphone system on, so you'll have to make sure you speak up so we can all hear you, okay?
And thank you for your
Craig,
patience.
did you get my email? Your agenda says Independence Road, I think, and Independence North. We made no application for Independence North. That is one of our projects, but that's not on the agenda today. Independence Road and Independence East are the two projects.
It's Road and East,
on the
okay.
agenda today.
I made a mistake. I apologize, okay.
That's okay. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, we got it. Road and East, I changed it.
Thank you so much. And we have two items on the agenda today. One is we are requesting a labor waiver, and the team that is on now will be able to describe in detail all the efforts that they have made to get local labor, including the various counties that are included in the requirements of the IDA to go search for local labor. And we have a change of control application. We are transferring this project to an entity that was described in the application with all of their financial information and other information. So I think, Greg, I think you guys were talking about taking up the labor waiver first, but I leave it to you to tell me.
That's what we had on the agenda, but it doesn't matter. We can talk about either one you'd prefer.
Let's do the labor waiver.
And I've got,
first.
the actual resolutions are correct. They do have the road and the east. I apologize. That was the agenda that was wrong.
No, that's okay. That's okay. I panicked for a second when I saw the.
No.
But let's do the labor waiver first, I think, if that makes sense.
That's fine. And they have the full package that you sent to me. They have it in their packet.
Wonderful. So, TJ, I'm not sure who was assigned to sort of describe these efforts separately, but let's, go from there.
Yeah, so what I can do is I can go over the memo, the numbers, and all the efforts that have been made, and then I think if there are any specific questions regarding any construction matters, then we have the folks from AUI here to be able to dig deeper and provide more detailed answers than what I have. But does that sound good to everyone?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for giving us the chance to present our case. What we're asking for here is a waiver for a maximum monetary value of 50% for both Independence Road and Independence East. Currently, the projects are almost near completion. We're estimating to complete both projects, I would say, by the end of November or early December. And currently, what we've done is that we've broken up the local labor component, both from a cost perspective and from a man-hour perspective. From a cost perspective, right now where we're at is about 72% of the Independence Road contract value is local labor, and 66.52% of the Independent East project value is local labor. And what we've done is in Schedule 1, we have broken down the cost in terms of the major components, cost components, for example, the civil work, mechanical, electrical, and medium voltage electrical. And we have identified which of those components are local and not local. In Schedule 2, what we've done is we have actually provided the labor hours that are local. AUI, our contractors, They are self-performing the work, and I'll get into that, the reason as to why we are self-performing in a second. And from a labor hour perspective, for Independence Road, we're at 78%, and for Independence East, we're at 70%. And whether we're looking at the cost, the percentages of the cost, or percentages of the labor hours, we're not expecting a major deviation from these numbers, as the projects are very much near completion right now. And AUI has also retained the services of 360 Industrial Services and Aerotech. These are labor recruitment companies that are assisting AUI in ensuring that they're well above the 50% threshold that we're asking for here. Now, I will mention that it is 100% our OYA's intention and AUI's instructions to retain and hire as many local laborers as possible, and this is and I just want to throw it out there that there is no cost advantage for us for bringing in non-local resources, as we have to pay for lodging, travel costs, temporary relocation, and it is very much preferred to hire labor locally where we can. And in this specific case, we have hired the civil contractor. They're a sub. That's not a component of the work that AUI is self-performing, and we actually paid a premium for it. So I just want to make it clear that we're not seeking this waiver because of an economic issue for the projects. The main. Sorry, are there any questions?
I have a question. This is Rich. Is the contractor that did the drilling, let's see, the pile driving, I guess the installation of the framing work, are they a union or non-union contractor?
These are non-union contractors.
Okay, so did you hire them instead of LC Whitford in Wellsville and Allegheny County because of cost? Or did you think LC Whitford could not complete that work?
So the way this was approached was AUI actually self-performed the work. And the reason for self-performing is to ensure that the projects are built as per the requirement of the racking manufacturers.
Yeah, I read your letter. I just think, are you telling me that LC Whitford's not capable of doing the same quality work?
So maybe Brandon can I mean, I haven't spoken to these guys directly. I mean, you guys have been in contact with them, but I think, well, but I don't think that the decision was made to self-perform the work and to hire local labor. And that's what the team here has done. And they have hired, 78% of all the laborers that were provided were local for Independence Road and 70% for Independence East. And this portion of the work was not subcontracted. So it wasn't looked at from a perspective of whether this subcontractor that you're referring to is capable or not. It was more so this work is being self-performed, and we're going to hire as much local labor as we possibly can get our hands on, while ensuring the project is being built safely and to the specifications of the manufacturer.
Okay, now is this a contractor so you self-perform all your work, sounds like, for the pile driving or the framework. How about the survey? Because, obviously we have qualified surveyors right in our county that do surveying for solar projects. And did you make any kind of an effort to hire someone local for that? Or did you just use whoever you like to use?
There is a technical, and I'll let the.
Well, I realize all that, there's technical, but did you actually try to talk to the local people to try to hire, to see if somebody else could do it locally within the counties that, where this local labor is supposed to come from. There are surveyors, I know for a fact, that do this kind of work for solar projects. And I already mentioned this to you guys, and I gave you the name.
Brandon, can you jump in here, please? Yeah, just 1 second. So I think what Brandon's doing is he's pulling up a spreadsheet, Rich, and the team here has reached out to multiple local vendors. So I think what Brandon's doing is he's pulling up his list.
Okay, good.
Hey,
Thank
guys.
you.
Hey, this is Brandon with AUI. First up, the survey value is very minimal. It's at $22,000 of the total project price here. On other projects, we have, reached out to non-local surveyors, but how do I want to say, the technicality of it and, generating the CSV files, the pile point plans, and doing the top of pile surveys for our elevations, we have found in a lot of local surveyors, they don't have that capability. So the most we could do, if hiring, would simply be to provide them with all the engineering work to survey. But again, given the value of it, at $22,000, we kept that with a surveyor that has the required expertise in the design aspect.
Does that go the same for putting up chain link fence? It wasn't a closer one in North Carolina?
Well, sorry, sorry, just 1 second. No, sir. I mean, there's no special technicality to that. I believe that most of that was either lack of availability or well, it looks like just lack of availability from some of these fencing and not wanting to go to that part of the state.
We've got a master spreadsheet that has all of the local entities we've contacted for racking, fencing, everything, and did not bring that in here. We're in our conference room, and I don't have access to that right now, but we could certainly get it and give information after this if need be. But everything was called, and there were dozens and dozens and dozens of phone calls made. That particular person is not sitting in front of us that made all those calls, but he's got a master spreadsheet on his computer that showed everybody he talked to, when he talked to them, and what their availability was for labor and pricing. And if it lined up, great. If it didn't, we had to go to the next guy and still make the project work.
I'd like to see that spreadsheet. I think we all would. See who all turns you down.
Bullshit. I don't have any other questions.
If you could send that to us, we'll review that, and then we can get back to you on the waiver, okay? Unless you have anything else you want to add.
No, we'll get it to you.
Okay, thank you. Anything else from the board? Questions? We'll get that. We'll review it.
Yes, I think the next one's.
Well, next one's different. The next one, the company's being bought out, so.
Yeah, I say we get this cleared up before we allow them to sell the next company. And we'll be
No,
chasing
you
two
can't
companies.
stop them from selling the company.
Yeah, there's.
If we don't have to give them the pilot has to be changed.
But
Pilot's in their name, it's not in another company.
But that's different. We can still resend the pilot even if we change the name.
I don't want to hold their feet to the fire.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just asking, but we can still.
So you're saying, John, because it's the same company,
What's that?
you're saying let's wait and see how this all.
Well, they're trying to sell this to another company, and we
Okay.
can't go after that, it'll be go after the new company.
I see what you're saying. Okay. That makes
They
sense.
need to sharpen their pencil on this $5,000 crap.
Hello,
Okay.
Hello?
this is Nadine.
That's Dan's representative, our
On
lawyer,
the change
Hudson
in the,
Russ.
on the change in the two oil projects, it's a change in the membership interests, and the company is still gonna be the same company name,
Right.
is my understanding.
Right.
What's the
Correct.
specific change in the membership? Just the owners of the LLC?
That's correct.
Yes,
And are they people or corporations?
Yeah, you can't follow the paper
the,
trail.
the chart is outlined on the resolutions.
Okay,
There's a
thank
chart
you.
attached to the resolutions, yep.
Okay.
Because the pilot still stays with the LLC regardless.
Right.
Correct.
So,
I gotta get educated on some of this stuff.
so, we've had this is Judy. We've had this issue with other projects coming into the county with the requirement for the local waiver and the request for a waiver. It sounds, tell us exactly what you are offering, in exchange for this and, where we can go from here, and we'll figure out where we go from here.
So this is Glenn Frank. I had discussions with Dan Spitzer some time ago about this, and we were going through the process before he had to step away for a little bit. And the discussions that I had with him indicated that for $10,000 per project, we would that the local labor requirements could be reduced down to what I originally thought was going to be, because of the efforts, down to about 50%. It sounds like we're at about 65 or 70%. So Dan and I had those conversations that we were perfectly willing to spend the $10,000 per project in order to get the local waivers. And I defer to TJ, but we are still certainly willing to pay the additional fee in order to get the labor waivers that we're describing to you today.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's the local community that is losing on not being able to supply this local labor. And, I would suggest, I guess, and, I'm just saying this as a member of the board, but, I think it might be a good idea to think about, what the company could do for the local community that would allow that waiver to happen. At this point, I don't have it in front of me. There's just too much paperwork at this point. But I believe you're offering $5,000. Is that true?
No.
You said
10,000.
$10,000, okay. Sorry, it's very hard to hear, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Per project.
it doesn't say that here.
So a total of 20,000, a total of 20,000 then, right?
Correct.
Okay,
That's
thank
our
you.
now.
That's correct.
Okay.
No.
So what do you want to do?
Yeah, we don't need to do this today, we can wait, that was just a listening point.
Okay, sounds good.
The preferred one, and we don't have to, but the resolution of the actual, who's gonna be owning the LLC, because the pilot goes with the LLC anyways.
The question I have is that the original pilot agreement, and I'm reading the oil letter, mandated in the event of a transfer, yada, 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 that authorization of the transfer would be required from the IDA.
Correct.
Somebody put that in there for a reason. Do we know what that reason was? Do we know who put it in there? I mean, that's, usually those things are, everything's done for a reason, I would assume.
This is Glenn Frank. I can tell you, I can tell you that that's a requirement in every jurisdiction for every IDA.
Right.
That in a change of control, we would have to come back for consent to the IDA.
Right.
And by change of control, we mean a sale of the membership interest. That is literally across the board, every IDA in New York State.
Right. Yeah, it's not automatic, it has to be requested.
It has to be requested.
It's just
So
like
we have to
this.
approve it.
Why? Can't follow the paper trail. Yeah.
This is Glenn Frank, and I believe the reason is that the IDAs want to make certain that the people who are buying these projects have the financial and economic capabilities in order to go forward. And that's why in the application we included quite a bit of financial information and a corporate hierarchy and other information about the people who are purchasing it so that we could display to the IDA their absolute qualifications to manage this project.
Okay. Okay, well, we don't need to make any decisions today. We appreciate your being willing to share this information with us, and it's very helpful. Are there any other questions from the IDA at this point or from the company?
This is Glenn Frank. I understand that you want to take a look at the materials that AUI is going to submit to you in terms of the spreadsheet. It is very critical to us that the change of control application be approved, hopefully today and as quickly as possible. Nothing will change in regard to the labor application. That will still be, the labor requirement, that will still remain in place. But the change of control application is absolutely critical that we take care of that if possible, today.
Why is that critical? Just curious. So critical today.
Because OIA, in order to meet its financial obligations on as a company prospect, needs to enter into this transaction with Agreco. Agreco wants to close this transaction on an expedited basis, and OIA actually needs them to do that on an expedited basis, and they are prepared to have this closing on these projects, later this week. And this is one of the last items, these change of control applications. On the other projects that we've sent, the change of control applications have all been approved. This is literally the last one that we're waiting for. So the change of control application is very, very critical.
Okay.
This is Judy. I have a question. It seems like, and this is a general question, but it seems like so many of the projects, the solar projects, end up getting sold to another company. Why is that? I read all of the information about the company that is going to be in control. It's huge. Just give me some information, if you would please, about the general trend that these projects do get sold before they're even completed, and then sometimes down the road.
So Hoya is a development company. Our business is mainly to secure land rights with regard to projects, permit them, get interconnection agreements, get pilot agreements, and get them to a position where we can turn around and get these projects to an institutional investor who can better use the tax attributes, use the financial attributes, use the economic attributes of these projects in order to put them into a larger portfolio and make them more economically viable. We do and would like to be in that position at some time in the future, but currently, and I think this is true for almost all solar developers, when they've got them fully permitted and ready to go, most developers will sell them to an institutional investor who can hold these things long term and gain the economic benefits that are attached to them over the long term. And by long term, I mean the 25 or 35 years of each project. TJ may be able to shed some more light on this, but I think that's really the main reason at this point where solar developers, transfer these projects out. That is certainly not unusual. Most of these projects do end up in institutional portfolios, and that's true for this set of projects as well. So our job is really to get them to the point where they can be thrown into a larger portfolio and managed over the course of time. TJ, you got anything else on that might be helpful?
Yeah, that everything you said, Glenn, is 100% bang on. And I will mention that the larger institutional, investors in these projects, their core competency is not to, come and acquire land and to come to IDA meetings and to, come permit the projects. They're pretty much very good at asset management, providing capital, operating assets, and power plants, such as the projects we're looking at selling. Whereas our core competency is very different. We're very good at engineering, construction, permitting, land acquisition, GIS work. So it's just a natural transition, and it takes a long time for a company such as ours to make that transition, to go from a developer towards an independent power producer, and that's what we're doing right now. But that is an additional reason as to why these projects get sold.
Thank you very much for sharing that. I appreciate that. So it was your intent as Oya in the beginning that it would be sold at some point to an operating company?
No, to be honest, like that wasn't our intent. We wanted to hold on to these projects, and we want to hold on to as many projects as we can. But sometimes as management of Oya Renewables, we enter into discussions with much larger companies, and the environment is very dynamic too. I mean, there's interest rate fluctuations in the market. There, as everyone has seen over the past 2 years, there's COVID, there's supply chain issues. So sometimes, we're kind of looking at, what's best for our business, and in this specific case, we're looking at selling these projects to a much larger company who's got a very strong balance sheet and is very much protected from those market fluctuations that are out of everyone's control. This is why it's very critical that we're able to proceed with this transaction, and this does not take away from the local labor requirements as that carries on with the project. It has nothing to do with the owners of the project itself, and that's an obligation of the project company itself, and this is why we have to sell these projects right now. I think that if we cannot enter and complete this transaction, it will have a significant impact on our company. And we view the change of control as more or less an administrative procedure.
Thank you.
Is there any chance we can enter into executive session?
I'll make a motion to enter for contractual.
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye.
You have to apologize. I've got to figure out how to do this. Can you hear me? I just wanted to make sure that they couldn't hear me. I got to get off the other one too, just a minute.
There was a little thing that came up.
We're not sure we can own it.
Yeah, right, that's what I was thinking.
Go in
Step
Craig's
next
office
door.
real quick.
Why don't we do that?
Yeah, why not? That's the whole thing.
Okay, I got, we're back on the stream.
This is my stuff here. This is your stuff. Where am I? This is all your stuff.
Yeah, you over there. I don't know where you're.
Are you still there?
No, this is your stuff.
Okay,
We're still here.
we're gonna be coming out of executive session here in a minute.
Okay, John, you'll take that motion.
Yeah, I'll motion to come out.
Randy?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor of coming out of executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we are out of executive session. We've had an additional member, join the meeting. Doug Frank is here. He is a regular member, but was unavoidably detained. So, thank you for your patience in waiting. We have had some good discussion about it, and I believe that we're ready to make a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Rich.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the change in members, name change, resolution, and also tied to that would be $25,000 per project paid to the IDA. So for a total of $50,000, and that will be 100% of that will be transferred to the town of Independence. So the only to compensate for the loss of local labor. The other thing is we would like to ask OYA when we can expect the funds to be transferred to us, if you accept.
Okay, is there a second to that motion?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Randy. Okay, discussion.
Can I ask a
Point of clarification.
Point of clarification. Yeah, just clarification.
Sure.
TJ, I'm ready to actually weigh in on this. So I think what you're saying, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that you will grant a local labor waiver for $25,000 per project, and you will approve the change of control. Is that correct?
Yes.
They are tied together.
They're tied together. TJ, that's your call, buddy.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you very much for making that consideration and passing the motion. Now, to your second question regarding payment, I would have to check back with our chief financial officer. However, I can tell you guys that the closing is expected to happen early next week, and the date keeps shifting between Tuesday to Wednesday. And what I will request the executive team of OYA Renewables and to do is to ensure that payment comes through as soon as the projects are sold, and that the payment is put within the project fund flows. So the second the projects are sold, we would turn around and pay you guys right away.
Could we set a date as potential, like next Friday?
That would be great. Yes, and let me just, is there any way, I just don't want to commit to say Thursday or Friday and then we're late by a day. I am committing to getting you guys the payment, but
Sure.
Can I get back to you with an email after talking with our CFO?
Let's make it 2 weeks.
Is that okay with you guys?
Yes.
Okay, how about 2 weeks from today? And, we're gonna seriously consider revoking the pilot if we haven't received the funds by that time.
So basically, at the end of the project, selling is fine, but we want to have it within 2 weeks, sooner if better, okay?
That's fair, and thank you for that consideration. I really appreciate it.
Okay, are we ready to vote?
Second, yeah.
Yep.
Motion's on the table.
Motion's on the
Yep.
table.
And second.
Okay. All ready to vote then. All those in favor of that motion, please say aye.
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 Then we have to do this.
We have to do the
Any
resolution by
opposed
itself.
to the motion? Okay. Okay, all right.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution consenting to change in membership interest, Oya Independence Road LLC project.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Doug. Okay, any discussion on that? Randy?
The only point of discussion is I want to remind the members at this table and the people on the internet that we are expecting $25,000 per project from 2 weeks from today for the local labor issue that we've discussed.
Yes, sir. Understood.
Okay, understood. Thank you. We are ready to vote. Richie Yule?
Aye.
Judy Hopkins? Aye. Randy Shaler?
Aye.
Doug Frank?
Aye.
John Ricky?
Aye.
Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Is there anything else from Oya that we need to deal with today?
You want to make sure you do both of them.
Right.
That's what Rich is looking at.
I'm
There's
looking for the other
actually two
resolution in our packet and I don't see it.
Wasn't both in there?
I do not believe
So
so.
that's the one.
But it's just got a different name.
Just different name. Now make sure we do both resolutions.
Okay, so
It'd be the same.
I'll make a
res-
motion.
Yeah, this is all that's all the name change.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution consenting to change membership interest in Oya, let's see, Oya Independence East.
Right.
Okay. What's the name of the other project?
One east and
Road.
road.
Yep, we already did road.
This is east.
Okay. Second on that motion, please.
I'll second.
The east is in there too.
Thank you. Craig, would you like to repeat the motion just for clarity for everybody?
It's a resolution consenting to change in membership interest of Oya Independence East.
East, yeah.
Right down road,
Okay,
yes.
right down the road. Okay, sorry for the confusion there, everybody online. Okay, any discussion on that?
I'd just like to take this opportunity to restate, because we're talking about a different project, restate that this board expects payment of $25,000 per project, which we will then remit to the town of Hume within 2 weeks.
And
Town of Independence, excuse me, the town of Independence, which we will expect within 2 weeks.
Understood.
Understood. Okay, thank you. Okay, we are ready to vote then. Rich Yule,
Aye.
Judy Hopkins, aye. Randy Shaler,
All right.
Doug Frank,
Aye.
John Ricky.
Aye.
And that is passed. Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, on this.
Yeah, you have a question? What's the question?
I do, thanks. I don't know, Craig, if Nadine is still on. Any other IDAs where we've asked for change of control, we actually get a document from the IDA that authorizes the change of control.
Yes,
I don't know whether we'll get that, okay.
you will get that from Nadine, yeah, once we sign this resolution, yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That's all I need. Thank you very
Yep.
much.
I'll talk, she's dropped off, but I'll make sure I talk to her after this meeting, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Appreciate the discussion.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you. Talk to you soon.
Okay, goodbye.
Well, I think,
They're gone.
I think we need to make it clear to new pilot, on the newer pilot apps that, that 25,000 per project isn't our new standard.
No, there's
You know,
no
it's probably
standard.
gonna get worse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're just
we
gonna
just-
blow it off and expect.
Well, they've all
They
been,
accepted it too quick.
Yeah,
It was
exactly,
too
so we're
low.
up for 100.
Yeah, and I think
Well-
we also
No.
need
Yeah, go
to
ahead.
know the intent of that. I mean, I think they had no intention
Exactly.
of building it themselves,
what,
operating.
what
it
I,
all.
what I would recommend
We
is
need
what
to
the
know
board should do, and I'll do some research for the other IDAs so we can bring it back for discussion. We ought to set what the penalty is
They made
up
it,
front
Yeah,
but
versus making it by process. We should have a penalty clause in there. Here's the penalty.
But wouldn't it be then easier for them to just fork over the money.
Yeah,
Well-
I agree with
And
Judy.
not
I'd
try to
rather not
get-
state, I'd rather not state an amount.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just
Right, we
saying,
Put a
I
high
can, we
penalty.
can have an amount in
Yeah.
mind.
Yeah.
But,
They could just build it into their cost structure. I see what you're saying.
well, we need to figure out what our penalty structure is, even if it isn't published.
yeah,
That's all I'm saying,
so if you can,
right?
if you
I
can
think we
do,
should come up with what our penalty structure might be.
yeah, if you can talk to some of the.
Because we've
other
had it twice
counties.
now, and the one was much stiffer than this one, in fact.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you also talk to Dan Spitzer? We feel we left some money on the table by saying 25.
Right.
He left that amount plus 15 on the table.
Yeah,
for saying
I'll let him
10.
know that we
Right.
need to talk to.
Yeah, I'd like him to be,
Yeah.
I'd like him to be careful about negotiating on our behalf,
Yeah.
and naming amount. I
Busy
love
working.
Dan. I don't want him doing that.
I know, I
I
hear
do
you.
not want him doing that.
Well, yeah, and how much of this 50 is he gonna skim off the top?
Not zero.
Is he
He
gonna have
doesn't get
to,
anything.
he doesn't get anything for
They pay
writing
all
up
the-
a new contract gonna
They'll
cost
pay
us
all the
$5
costs.
Yeah.
They pay all the
They pay all these costs
Okay,
anyway.
good, that's good.
And I think, the other thing is the surprise element. I mean, this this all had to be done today.
Yeah, we just got it 2 days ago.
Excuse me, and
Everything.
we need to,
Well, you're never gonna get away from this problem. It's always gonna be continuing, right? You're not gonna adhere to the labor requirements. It's always gonna be ongoing.
Maybe we need to do a little work and have some plug and play contractors that can do this. You know, I mentioned
Yeah.
LC Whitford. You know,
Right.
if they want to do it, if they can do it, then, you know, there you go. And here's at least one surveyor. I mean, we can't pick and choose contractors, but we can say, hey, we're aware of at least one.
Right.
And we're aware of at least one surveyor, and we're aware of these fencing. So you make your own decision, but if you don't hit the number, it's gonna hurt, you know? I don't think there's a problem with that. You know, I don't know,
No.
would a union, contract double the price of labor, or would it, you know, increase it by 50%? Is that why they don't do it, or do they just don't wanna do it?
Well, all the new contracts, I think all the new projects require local labor, I mean,
Or at
require
least
union
prevailing
prevailing
wage,
wage rate,
yeah,
so it's not
okay.
gonna make any difference. This,
Okay.
I think this was the last one.
Okay, good.
I think in the future, they're all requiring prevailing wage rate, so it's not gonna be a union versus a non-union discussion.
Well, then there'd be no reason not to use a local
Right.
GC
Yeah,
if we can find, if we have
then
one.
it's easy
Yeah.
to use local labor.
Right.
Okay.
okay. All right, let's try to move on.
You thought we'd be done, didn't you, Doug?
I did. I wanted to know you guys
It's
were-
called fun.
And you were probably saying, so why even bother to go? They're done.
He came to sign the checks.
Yeah, I had to sign
This
checks.
one? Okay, we're gonna do a really tough one now. Rich, make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the board minute from September 14th.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? Okay, pass. Wow, we got something done. Okay, let's take a look at the treasurer's report. The abstract report. I'm not sure I didn't find it because it's in the stuff left.
I'll start stapling some of it, I apologize. I think that would help.
You need some help.
Support.
Oh, no, I'm working with the temp agency to
Yeah.
get us somebody, don't worry.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, we'll make sure it's staple. This was,
So
got to be pretty big.
This is a particularly crazy day with all of this stack of paper.
Well, the volume was pretty
But-
big, but
Yeah, so.
I'll make a
anyway, let's
motion
look
to
at the-
approve the abstract report.
Okay, thank you. Second,
Second.
John, thank you. Okay, any questions? Doug's on the line here. He's gonna sign all these checks, so. No, if not, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay. And the banking and financial summary, let's take a look at that. We'll accept a motion at any point.
I'll make the motion to approve.
Thank you, Doug. Second,
I'll second.
thank you, John.
John's always good for it, I can tell you.
Yeah, I know. Okay, any questions?
Move it along.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Okay. All right. Anything in the building?
No, we've ordered the condenser that should be installed hopefully by the next meeting, so that'll be up and running. And then I've also ordered the TV, so we'll have that TV system put in and a better microphone and speaker
Yeah,
system.
we
No,
definitely.
I know,
yeah,
I know,
Yeah,
but I can't do it I'm not gonna go out and
No.
buy it myself.
no,
Computer Solutions
worked out
gonna set
okay.
it up. It worked out fine.
I wouldn't say fine, but we won't have a discussion about that.
Well, it did, it worked out.
Yeah, I mean, it worked out, yeah, it was, yeah, we just need them a lot louder. And, okay, are we going back into executive session for anything else?
I have nothing else. We already had all this discussions.
Okay, we've done some action items, which is great. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Right.
All of that. On to old business. Let's hear something good. Great with Gateway Center.
Gateway Center, the seekers should be done, I think it's tomorrow or Saturday. And then they should be okay to go forward and put the base road in. And so after that, they're still looking for funds to help on the water and the sewer, but there's making progress. So I would think Tom could get that road in. He's already got all the millings out there to put it in, so it shouldn't take long to put it in.
Great, so.
I saw some discussions about a hotel. Is that just perspective?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm still talking to Invest heavily. I think they're still interested, so I'm gonna try to get them to sign up once we get the road put in.
Good. Okay. Anything else on clean energy?
I have no other updates except for what we talked about today. No, because
Okay.
Northland, like I said, they basically have finished their host agreement with the large scale wind or large scale solar in Alfred, but I do not have a copy of it yet. But they've agreed to terms.
What's the holdup on the road agreement for the wind project? Has it been submitted, the request to the county yet?
Yes, oh yeah.
And then
The
what is
county,
county-
the county attorney has not finalized the document.
Okay, what
She has a
takes?
problem.
Okay, so there's an issue with it?
No, not with that.
No, there's no real issue
Doesn't
with
do
it.
anything fast. I'm
Okay,
It's
sorry,
just
well,
the speed of play, shall we
Okay,
say.
all right, I was just curious.
She's being thorough.
Yeah, a little too thorough.
Well,
Well, actually, I've been
How many
pushing,
times you been saying
I've been
that?
talking to Carissa almost weekly on this because they're ready to move. And in fact, they're at the stage they may just start doing it anyways. Because they have the authority to do that. They'd like to have a road agreement.
well, I know there must be a reason she's probably protecting our interests, but, okay. All right, I
Okay,
was just curious.
okay, good questions. Okay, Great Lakes, what's going on?
I'll make sure Matt comes to the next meeting. He could not come at this meeting, but he made a commitment. He'll be at the next meeting. He was out of town.
Okay.
He didn't want to beam in.
Any new business? Okay, good in the order. Move for adjourn.
So moved.
Second, John,
Second.
we are adjourned. I don't think you have to.
Doesn't look like Oakley's coming.
No, I don't think